Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with Ms.B. Today we are spending time together for the last foundational practice with watercolor. If you're new to this channel and if you would like to participate to this activity, I highly encourage you to start from the first of the 4 videos when we are getting more familiar and comfortable with the technique and the media of watercolor. So I hope that you by now feel more confident and more comfortable also to take little risk with watercolors, but most of all you're understanding the technique a little more if you would like to use it for more practices. So we are using, this was the last one. Remember that we did 2 abstract patterns, the drops and the waves, and abstract design. You can put it using the same limited color palette. This was mine, and you keep using the color palette that you started with. It doesn't matter if exactly like mine or different one, but as I told you before, when we do this foundational practice, it's good for us to set a limitation of the amount of colors that we want to use, so we can truly focus also on experiencing a specific palette. And by avoid any distractions related to the choice of multiple colors, right, we focus truly on the technique. How much water do I want and do I need? What is the technique that I have to use with my brush? What type of brush? How much pressure? How slow? How fast should I go? So in sport, the practice, like the warm-up, the training, these are exactly these type of activities, right? They are warm-up, they are training for you to get better and better. Today, we are finalizing the practice by using the same limited color palette, and we are going to paint something a little more objective, which means that is more sophisticated and detailed because it represents something. In my case, of course, you know me, I will do flowers because I feel that is a tremendous exercise when we do petals and leaves. Is a beautiful way to see and to test the skills that we trained when we did the drops and the wavy pattern. So it's really a test. So we are putting everything that we have been learning with these 3 practices, just in this 4th, we are going to put everything together and test our ability. Remember, keep an open mind. If your result is different than mine, you just go back and you keep exercising yourself. Now you know how. You can rewatch and redo the practice with my video as many times as you wish and you want, and then you try and you test it again, okay? There is no really nothing to lose. As I say to my students, it's a piece of paper. Of course, we want to always do our best, but as long as you are doing your own best and your own best effort, it will be a beautiful, relaxing practice. So I'm going to switch the camera and we can start. And I truly hope that you would subscribe to my channel, practice with many other videos. I will have other watercolor video in store after this foundational practice because I'm pretty sure that many subscribers now they feel more confident. They are truly enjoying the element of watercolors and the media. So we're gonna go for there, more videos about that. And also if you want to practice a drawing skill, relaxation, and therapeutic art sections, you can find everything in my channel. I'm going to switch the camera and we can start. Ciao. Okay friends, this is our paper masking tape to create a beautiful frame, protect the paper, the edge of the paper, and also make it stable on the table, the surface that you are using. Remember, I'm using my color palette, so I have a brown gold, brown, some blue, that they're giving me some grayish, green, whatever. So we're going to use, pretty wet brush, dry surface, and we're gonna start to create our shapes. I'm gonna go for some flowers, so it's a good opportunity for you to see how we can paint directly without sketching, as I did other time, instead with the drawing, the painting, and then the final texture on top. So I'm presenting various techniques. We start to shape some petals. And remember, because we have been learning into the previous practice that we did, that sometimes we don't want to re-dip the brush in the color into the water. Sometimes we want to do so, sometimes instead we work with what we have, right? And you will have a little more water, a little less water, because this is our final practice after the other 3, in which we were just doing long strokes, short strokes, an abstract composition, so we were focusing only on the technique. Now we also add some focus on the shapes as well, because they need to be a little more intentional, like, right, if you're doing flowers, we want to be intentional, and we want to make sure that our shapes are petals, right, or leaves and stems and whatever we need them to be. And we don't want to forget the beautiful element of the water, so we leave transparency, we leave stuff, you know, we don't want to have too much water, because we don't want to control it too much. We're gonna keep adding some flowers here and there. I mix a little bit of the I started to pick some of the blue, and because there was some gold in it, the color that is giving me is this gray, green, brownish, you know, a little bit of everything with some blue as well. Don't overthink it. As I say, let the water do its work and enjoy it. And because you see, the transition that naturally the watercolor will give us is fantastic. Now onto some more blue. Maybe I want to switch and go some daisy. We learn how to leave some wide gaps, right, between the shapes. This is from the first, the second, and even the third practice. So at this point, you should be more fluent. If you feel that you need to go slower, go slower. I'm leaving the center of the flower. I will let those dry a little bit, so then I can add the color of my choice. I'm gonna dip just into the water, and I'm going to have a very, very light petal instead, right? Deep back, and you can try and test some overlapping as well. Why not, right? Because the element of watercolor, the transparency, allowed us for some nice overlapping. Now I'm going to go back to blue, maybe a gray blue, because, you know, the brush will give me the gray bluish. And let's do maybe sort of a rose. So we're gonna just start some nice shape around the center of the rose. They are truly just brush strokes, and then we turn them into shapes that are going around. You can make it as big, as small as you want. You can pick a little bit more water, a little bit more of the color, respread it. Petals. Now I would like to see some gold green again. So mixing the color like what we have, we're gonna start to do some nice long leaves. Now if you use the different color palettes for the previous technique, you will figure out, you know, the way that your color palette interact with all of this, right? And doing some nice overlapping. And then if I mix this one with a little bit of blue, it might give me a little more of you know, greenish. I'm gonna start to do the stem. Now, if the stem don't come to you super thin, it is totally okay. This is when you do, like, truly focus on the pressure that you need to add. In this case, barely any pressure, so you're free to move this brush on the paper, right? And then we can start to connect the leaves. We forgot one of these on the back. Now we go back to some blue, maybe. I know my color palette was very limited, but, and we're gonna add a different type of flowers. You can do some dots. This one also is a way that we control the water, but also the pressure, right? Almost no pressure. We want some dots to be bigger, some water to kind of bleed and blend. This is exactly what the other 3 previous practices prepare us to do. Okay, so now we are putting it together, basically, what we learned through the scaffolding to the different several steps, and we're bringing it all together, right? So because now we know better. Back to this, a bit of blue, and once again, barely touch the paper, don't add any pressure. The stem will be sometimes thinner, sometimes thicker, and this is exactly what we want, right? We don't want something that looks perfect, that looks printed. That is not what we are aiming here, right? And remember, it's a beautiful exercise for our fine motor skills. Now a little more, I want to play around with like a little more pure type of blue, so I'm gonna rinse my brush twice, so it's not like super spoiled by other. Let's add a few things over here. Let's add a tiny little flower. Once again, an opportunity to review these beautiful shapes, leave the gaps, and control a little bit, right? Gonna overlap one over here, gently overlapping with the leaves. Deep into the water, back into our blue. You can keep going and add, you know, as many as you like, and it's your composition after all. Remember, you want something that fills the space nicely, doesn't overcrowd the space. It leaves some room for imaginations as well, right? I'm connecting the flowers with their stems, and I think that I'm gonna use the same blue to add some nice leaves. A little bit of water. Also play with the shape of leaves, so we don't need the leaves to be perfect, right? Now I'm tapping just into the water, and I'm going to just really doing a few more strokes, like leaves of grass, that creates some nice beautiful movement to the piece, right? A nice beautiful pattern. It's very delicate. And now we are going to go back to my dark blue. This time I'm going to control the amount of water a little more, because I'm gonna work in the center of the flower, so I want this deep blue to stay in. And I don't want it to bleed too much. Little bit of water now, a little bit more blue, the blue inside over here and here. Here we're gonna do it nice and big. And then with that, oh, I need to remove this. I I'm gonna dark the stem of the rose, and then maybe with a little bit of more water, I'm going to dark up the bottom, right, to create some nice, since I had some extra blue, I'm going to create a little bit more transition, right, and value pattern between dark and light, and that brings a little more interest, mostly here. And you keep working until you think that you want to work. But when you think that you're done, you're done. I'm gonna probably add now, go back to a little greenish. So I'm mixing my blue spoiled brush with some gold color, this gold brown that I've chosen before. And I'm going to add these few little dots. Just I feel them nice and happy. They can go and match some of the strokes that I created, that you created before, if you did it the same that I did. And it's going to make the design very natural, very organic. Now the green is truly coming out because I've been touching some blue as well. I love that. And now I dip in the water and I do some random super light at this point leaves, just to enrich the design a little bit and create some nice, you know, overlapping. And once you think you're done, like in my case, I think I'm done, you can stop here and leave it to dry, let it dry, remove the masking tape, and that is going to be part of your portfolio that was created by, as we remember, the couple of first, there was not, this one was like, we did the first patterns, right? Short strokes and rounded strokes, long strokes for the waves. Then last time we did abstract design with the same watercolor palette, that in this design, because of the amount of water, looks a little brighter. And now we're finishing with something a little more objective, right, that represented has a different level of difficulty, right? But because we start from the beginning, we build up the skills. I hope you enjoy this practice. Let me know in the comment, and I see you soon with another. Ciao.